everyone, my name is Gimmie. I'm here today with a simple goal to help you in the world of color and Davinci Resolve. In today's episode, we're going to go over the basic navigation and getting to know the workflow of Davinci Resolve. In the last episode, I covered the media browser page, so I recommend checking that out if you have any questions about it. In today's episode, I'm going to go over the cut page, what it is, what it isn't, and how it relates to the edit page. In a nutshell, the cut page is a simplified version of the edit page that's designed to get your clips into the timeline in a much faster way than the edit page. Time is money, especially in the filmmaking world, and even though Davinci's edit page is a powerful tool, it, as well as other non-linear editors, have a very similar holdback when it comes to dealing with a lot of clips and getting them into the timeline to start working. The cut page is a good middleman between the media browser and the edit page. I would never want to finish a project in the cut page, though. It's designed for speed and simplicity rather than complexity. The complexity of the page is amazing for finishing your project, while the cut page gets you up and running much faster. In this video, we're going to go over what the cut page has to offer and how it differs from the edit page. So, a quick tour of our cut page shows us that we have a media browser on the left that shows all of our clips we brought in from the media page. We have a canvas on the right and a timeline on the bottom. We have most of the basic tools such as append or insert right here. After playing with the cut page, I've begun to notice a lot of similarities between this page and Final Cut Pro X. You will notice that we only have one canvas here, and not another media viewer on the left. This is because, like Final Cut, the canvas works dynamically. If I click in the timeline, it shows the clip where my playhead is located. And if I click in the media browser, it shows that clip. It changes between the timeline and the media browser depending on what you're working on. It reduces the amount of things on your screen by removing the second viewer, but it also comes at a cost. I can no longer view both my timeline and media browser at the same time to compare the clips and ensure that I have the one that I want down in the timeline. Or, if I want to swap it with one I like better, that's in the media browser. For this kind of task, you're better off using the edit page. As I said before, this cut page is a simplified version of the edit page and is meant to get your clips into the timeline so that you can switch over to the edit page and begin to work. Let's get into some of the cool features of the cut page that make things a little easier than the edit page. You'll notice here that we actually have two timelines, one on the top and one on the bottom. Editors honestly spend the majority of their time zooming in and zooming out rather than editing. It's a hard truth. Say you're working on something here and you need to zoom in to find your frame, then insert your clip, then zoom back out, then move over here, zoom back in, etc., etc. With these two timelines, my zooming is drastically reduced. In fact, it's been removed altogether. The timeline on the top is always zoomed out, while the bottom timeline is zoomed in. Using these two timelines, I can insert a clip here in the bottom timeline, then come up here to the top timeline and select a different place, then come back here to the bottom timeline and insert a new clip. It's that easy. What's also great is that both timelines are active at all times and work seamlessly with one another. I can even drag a clip from one to the other, like this. Having these two timelines next to each other saves a ton of time in the long run. It's really quite nice. The next thing I want to talk about is this button here, the Source Clip button. Now, say I'm here in my timeline with all of my media, and I want to view a clip, I can double-click it to bring it into the viewer, then play or scrub through. Nah, this isn't the right clip. So I can come over here and double-click this one to bring it into the viewer. Scrub through, rinse, repeat. This is how we would have to do it in any nonlinear editor. Now, in the Cut tab, I can use this Source Clip button to view every clip that is in my current bin in the canvas all at the same time. What this is simulating is you bringing every clip into the timeline, one after another. This hasn't actually moved any clips though, it's just a simulation. Now I can play through these clips and find the exact clips I want, and even set in and out points and bring them down into the timeline. The developers were even nice enough to put in this play button on the bottom left of the canvas. This mode will play longer clips faster and shorter clips slower. This is fantastic because say I'm watching a lot of clips, then I hit one that's way longer than the rest. I would have to fast forward to skim through it quicker, but Davinci automatically does this. It's an extremely helpful tool, and it makes for raw viewing of your source material a much better experience. Before I begin any project, I, like anyone else in this field, would organize my footage accordingly, so the use of my new tool would only be reserved for work on, say, a montage with all kinds of random footage, or for the extremely unorganized. There would also be the exception of working on a Kubrick film when you have 100 takes of the same scene. Well, that wraps up today's video, and I hope I was able to teach you something. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments section so I see them. Giving this video a like is always appreciated, and consider subscribing. And until the next video, have a great day.